As a chosen one, there will be a point in your life when you will awaken. Awakening for a chosen one is inevitable. It has to happen, regardless of what your situation is and what you're going through. Now, when you awaken, the universe, God, source, I don't know what word you want to put there. I'll talk about the universe. The universe is going to put you in a tight corner and it's going to force you to evolve, to start evolving. The purpose of your awakening is, first of all, awakening, healing, evolution, and then eventually find a purpose and work with purpose. So this is a process that is inevitable if you know that you chose one. But I would like to specifically concentrate on that part where you're going to feel the need to relocate. Because you see, as you start waking up, the very first thing you will see in your environment and your surroundings, you will start to be aware of so many things. You will become aware of the friends that have always been around you, family members, sometimes your wives or husbands, your workplace, So relocation can happen in so many ways. You may be just relocating by getting out of one job and you want another one. Or you could relocate in a way that you're physically moving out of your old home to a new one. Or relocation can happen whereby you're moving simply out of a dysfunctional family system and you're going out there to be independent. And there can be so many, even sometimes relocation can be mentally. You may be sometimes moving your mind to a much more easier and comfortable place. Mentally, okay? Spiritually. I can assure you from experience, I waited 7 years to exit a narcissistic relationship. It's not because I wasn't trying. I was trying so many, I think I tried to move myself like three times before. And then there was a discard. And then of course a few months there was a Hoover. So I still went back there. But I'd always yearned for this relocation to move into more easier and calmer grounds and territory. For 7 years, ladies and gentlemen, it didn't happen. I was trying, yes, I prayed about it. I looked at a few places here and there, it wouldn't happen. Relocation for a chosen one, I could say, post-awakening, I've realized it's a divine intervention. So it's divine, actually, that helps you relocate and move out of probably bad or toxic situations to better territory and better environments. But at the same time, there is going to be things you will see. And you will know that most likely, because I will actually make this video according to what has been my experience, the things that I've seen. And I'll give you the signs that God doesn't want you to relocate yet. It's not yet your time to relocate. Okay, so there's some reasons why you're still in a certain place. For example, like I've told you, I was 7 years, and every year I was hoping that I'm going to be able to move the next year. If that year didn't happen, I would say I'm going. So I've been like trying so many years. I could say even about like 4 or 5 years to move out of this situation and get into a better place. It didn't happen. When a person is going to relocate, and it's divine intervention and your time has come to relocate, I can promise you, empaths, you're going to relocate without money. So a lot of you guys who are still in this funny, toxic, very bad environments, and you're thinking that, oh, this place is not good for me. I'm dreaming about finding my own place, moving to my own flat, buying my own home, in whichever way. I can promise you, when your time comes to relocate, you're not going to need money. You might even sometimes find yourself leaving some belongings behind, and you're just going to pack some few things in your bag and you'll disappear and you'll never be seen again. That's what they call divine intervention. So there is a force that is pushing and dragging you out. It's like, okay, so this is your time. Whether you're ready or not, money or not, it's your time. I know people who are stuck in very toxic environments and they have never been able to relocate, to move away from these situations, even when they had a lot of money with them. They had money in the bank, they had savings, but they were still stuck in those situations. They were not ready to go. That is because the time has simply not yet arrived. When that time arrives, you will know. You will wake up in the middle of the night, you will call a cab, you will call a friend, you may have to walk if you have to. When it's time for you to relocate, you will know. When my time arrived to relocate, to move away from a narcissistic relationship, I knew my soul just released this individual. I was like, okay, now I can move. It's okay. I've seen it. I know what it is. And I made a few very desperate moves, called a few friends, and before I knew it, I put my few clothes together and I moved to a friend's house for 2 weeks. And that is how my life started, away from the narcissist. So I was able to get away from this toxic individual. If you're a person who is seeing yourself stuck in a situation, you have to know that your time hasn't yet arrived. So I'll give you 3 reasons why it is not yet your time to relocate or to move. So don't think that this being stuck, your stagnation is a coincidence. So there is something that's happening that you don't see. Okay? I've already done a video that God wants you to relocate. I've done a video about that 2 years ago. Now I'm doing a video that your time to relocate hasn't yet arrived. Okay? If you're a person who is stuck in a situation and you haven't yet found maybe the energy, the money, the time or whatever to relocate, you have to know that in that particular place that you are, you're going through a cycle. So every end of a cycle, every one of us goes through certain cycles. You could be going through a cycle of abuse, for example. Family dysfunctional system, it could have been happening for years, and it's like you've been going in cycles and you haven't yet ended that cycle. And for some reason, you have always been dreaming that you're tired of your parents. You want to go to a new place, you want to move to your new house, you want to move to a new city, maybe you want to go to a new country. But for some reason, on a very spiritual level, you have not yet finished that cycle. When that cycle is over, you will experience a lot of things changing in your life eternally. You will know in your soul that, okay, now this time is finished. This particular set of events is finished. You have closed that gate. It's finished. And your spiritual are going to feel that energy, that it's time for you to start moving. And you even sometimes find yourself grabbing some few things, putting them in the bag and disappearing into thin air. So if you're stuck in a place and God wants you to go through a certain cycle, because I've told this, sometimes chosen people, God puts us in certain environments so that we can learn some very, very important lessons in life, okay? And normally to be able to learn these lessons, we're supposed to go through some cycles. It will be traumatic most of the time, to be very, very painful, very, very hard, but normally it is actually part of our evolution. And sometimes these cycles have not yet ended. So because if now God moves you away from that place, you will not have learned some very valuable lessons in that time. So sometimes God will actually delay your relocation because he wants you to stay in that environment and learn certain things for yourself, because those lessons that you're learning in that time, they're also going to be a part of your evolution at a later point in time when your time comes to relocate. The sign number 2 that it is not yet your time to relocate. You might have been a person who was, for example, you wanted to go to a particular town. You know, there's a town that you've thought about, oh, I want to move to this town because my family is over there, my sister lives over there, and those kind of stuff. Or sometimes it could be a particular house that you're interested in, that, oh, I'm going to rent that house because I'm very interested in that area, so I want to rent that particular house in that particular building. But actually, what you don't see spiritually is that God does not want you to go in that building, because there's a very big chance that the person who is going to be your neighbor in that particular building could be, you could be neighboring or sometimes sharing the same area or the same neighborhood with a psychopath. It could be a person that has, for example, killed people over the years. It could be a person who is very dangerous. Maybe sometimes they touch people's homes. And that environment that you're planning to go, on a spiritual level, God knows that that's not environment for you. It is not going to be healthy and good for your evolution, and God is actually stopping your relocation on purpose. Sometimes you may even find that you might have had an interest in a particular house or a particular home that you wanted to move, and in that particular time, it is not safe for you to go there. There is people around that neighborhood, very dangerous people, and most likely they're going to cause you problems. So God is going to delay. Sometimes you might even find other people actually taking over the property. Oh, I wanted that house, but how come all of a sudden the agency found some other people to take the property? It was divine intervention. So God didn't want you to move into that property because you was most likely going to get problems in that place. Okay, so God has got other bigger plans for you. You may actually have put your intention and focus on that particular property, but God has got a much bigger and better place, even much calmer place for you that you will live in peace. So, in other words, God has got bigger plans than the plans that you've already made for yourself. So, if you ever fail to get a home, for example, you wanted to move at a certain area, and you never succeeded in those applications, and somebody else ended up taking up that place, you have to know that God has got a different plan for you. So, do not beat yourself up. Or even if you get that place, it could not be in that particular time. It could even sometimes take a couple of years before that place will be made available again for you to be able to move into that area, because now the place is safe for you. So you are being protected behind the scenes, even if you're not actually seeing this. Another sign that God doesn't want you to relocate, or it is not yet time for you to relocate, is most likely in that particular area where you are. You need to understand that there is no coincidences in this universe. So all the things and events that are happening around you, it is actually happening by divine order. So all the things are supposed to happen the way they are. And if you find yourself stuck, there's a very big chance that you are in a certain place for a particular mission. So you may have, for example, I give an example in the beginning when I was trying to leave the narcissist. My mission, first of all, I had to go through this abuse, first of all. I had to see it for what it is. I had to understand it. I had to understand it. I had to understand who a narcissist was, because that process of 7 years dealing with a narcissist was also going to be a part of my journey at some point post-awakening and also during my evolution. So it was going to be a part of my evolution process. So I had to first of all see these things, and it was a mission for me to be there. Okay, so the reason why you see myself, I don't really beat myself up too much about narcissists and everything, or even if I know what they did and everything. I knew that I was in that particular place to learn something. So for me, if I had walked out, for example, 4 months ago, let's say, for example, something happened and I walked away 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, whatever, 2 years ago, and my mission had not yet been completed, God now would put me in another similar scenario where I would be able to finish that mission, because there was something that I was supposed to learn. There was lessons I was learning. So there was a mission for me in that particular place that I was supposed to learn. So sometimes when you find yourself stuck, it is because actually God is God that has put you in that particular place, because there is things that God is showing you. There's a mission you have to learn in that area. So what you need to do in this situation is to look very closely around you, pay attention to the details. God may be giving you some signs that you're not seeing. Maybe there may be people coming around and talking about certain things, or you may be going through certain experiences, and these things you're blind, too blind to see and to understand what is going on, because everything that is happening in that particular moment around you, whether good or bad, however toxic or dangerous it is actually something that you are supposed to be there and you're supposed to do. You are supposed to go through this process. There's a mission for you in that place. And you may sometimes find out that actually the reason why you've been holding on for so long is because somebody somewhere from out there in the universe may have to gravitate towards you, and is supposed to meet you in that particular environment, and you're supposed to do something together. So whereby if God moved you away from that area, that person may come around and they may not be able to find you, but you are supposed to be there because there is a mission that is going on around you. There is something you're not seeing, okay? There could be signs, there could be something that probably is going to be available in the next couple of months, and God doesn't want you to move because God wants you to see this, okay? Like I've told you, for example, me, I was hoovered back in the days. I was hoovered once. When I left the nurses after the discard, I was hoovered once. And for some reason, God had to bring me back and put me back in that relationship because I was like, why do I end up getting back into a relationship with a person that is very toxic? That is because I had not yet fully awakened. And my awakening was meant and designed to happen in that particular place. So God had to actually allow this hoover to happen for me to come back in there. So that now I could be able to get a clear understanding and a clear vision of what exactly was going on around me. Now, when I would later on move away, I would move away with both my physique, my belongings, and my emotions. Now I would be able to close that gate permanently, but having understood what was happening, because before, after the discard, I did not know what was happening. So this is some of the things that sometimes these nurses, they hide from you. When they are discarding you, they don't tell you what is going on. So they hide this thing from you. They don't give you the closure so that you will be running up and down in circles, you know what I mean? But when it's divine timing and your time has come and your mission has been completed in that area, God will close that cycle because the universe knows that that cycle is complete. It is finished. That is when now you're able to get this kind of revelations, awaken, and eventually give yourself the closure that you need. Now you can move away and carry on with living your life in peace. So if you're the person who is stuck, just know that those are the three things most likely that is happening around you. Be patient. Always have this energy of putting an intention out that you usually want to relocate. But if you're still stuck in an area for some reason, sometimes you even have the money, sometimes you even have the energy, you may sometimes be in that place for a reason. Those are the three reasons I've given you most likely that you're not ready to relocate. If any of those resonates with you, let us know in the comment section below what you think. You guys know that I do love and appreciate your support. Book a session, donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. There's a more signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.